Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we have done it. We hit 49,000 subscribers. I still can't believe we're climbing this quickly, although not as quickly as Rarran. That guy is going crazy these days. If you haven't checked out his channel yet, by the way, you should. Videos are absolutely top-notch. The guy's putting in the work of his life, and I'm super happy for success. And also, congrats on the 50K, my friend. Absolutely crazy. But yes, we hit 49K, and as promised, I have a giveaway planned for 49K, and there will be another one at 50,000. So keep hitting that sub button. Plus, you gotta be subbed to get this prize anyways. And yes, the golden mini sets are in the shop right now, and I'm giving away not one, not two, but 3 of them out of my pocket to you guys. You'll be able to pick whichever one you want. All you have to do, all I ask, is that you like this video, comment, I guess you could talk about the mini set you want or whatever you want to talk about, really doesn't matter, and subscribe to the channel. So yes, lots of exciting stuff. Thank you guys again so much for the support. It's surreal, and if we hit 50K, I just cannot wait, and the giveaway's got to be bigger than this, so I'm going broke. Anyways, the topic of the video today: Drek'thar, is it finally going to get nerfed? We recently had the latest patch with the whole Battlegrounds stuff and all the quality of life changes and Nelly being fixed. Oh wait, yeah, apparently that's not happening. And also Queen Azshara being fixed. Oh wait, that didn't happen apparently either, but at least we didn't get new bugs. Oh wait, we got a bunch of new bugs. Well, this patch has been interesting, but regardless, there was a discussion on Twitter that started off this tweet by Fino asking, I just don't understand how we aren't getting Demon Hunter changes. Like, what more do we need? It's favored against 95% of the decks, but quite a lot versus most, and also is a 68% mulligan win rate card that feels so bad to play against. I'm sure we've got changes for less of this, and he shows the whole matchup spread, which, if you see here, there's basically the one bad matchup is Control Warrior. Everything else is green. I'll move my face for a second here. Everything is green, and even against Control Warrior, it's like 40%. They only lose 40% of the time. So yeah, we all know it's ridiculous. And Blizzard responded to this tweet. It started with Deck Tech, who's kind of more of the communication side of thing. He does a lot of the publishing stuff. He relays a lot of messaging. He probably gets a lot of flack for being the messenger, but is an all-around great guy, and he doesn't seem to mind doing it. And he goes above and beyond. So thank you to Nicholas. I just want to give him some props. But he said balance changes don't usually come in content patches, which have to be wrapped up and submitted to the storefronts ahead of time. The team's aware of concerns. So like, oh, I even quote tweeted this saying, you love to hear it. And if this leads to nothing, I'm going to send the hate army, because apparently we're a bunch of salty hater rage bait. Although I feel like that kind of has passed. That's kind of more of a retired meme. But regardless, he answered that with that. But the dialogue continued with Donkey. He runs that site, Donkey's site, really good at tracking rankings and Masters Tour and all that stuff. He said that's just not accurate, is it? 2.0 patches, the big BG content patches have usually included balance changes. I think it's 4 out of the 5 previous ones have included standard changes, and the one that didn't include changes for other modes. So yes, it didn't seem consistent with Nicholas's argument. And again, there was back and forth saying typically, it seems to be not true. And then Nicholas said, I confess I did do a historical check, but the typical workflow from my perspective on the inside is that the major content patches aren't expected to have balance patch changes, though they can. Usually there's a different window for them. However, I think Exar saw this and like, all right, I'm gonna bail Nicholas out, but we're gonna elaborate on what's going on here. So this is where the big news comes from, is from Exar here, who's, I don't think he's in charge of like balance changes anymore, but obviously he's pretty in the know. So he says, we don't usually make reactive time-sensitive balance changes in content patches. This is because patches requires to have the changes made a week or 2 in advance. The kind of changes that come in content patches are ones we don't think will change our mind in a few weeks' time, and we're also fine waiting. The kinds of changes that come in data patches are ones we want to decide on, then have them go into a build within days. For mulligan win rate, I think Drek is a borderline violator here, so we don't necessarily disagree. That said, more useful look at the delta between deck win rate and mull win rate of specific cards. If we're talking about a 63% HS replay deck, all the mulligan win rate will be inflated. So there will always be some cards that increase your win rate by X amount if you get them in the mulligan. Question is how much increase is appropriate and how much is okay. 3, 5, 10%. Basically saying a great deck is always going to elevate a mulligan win rate of a card. If, you know, the deck is going to do really well despite, you know, not drawing a specific card, those cards are going to be elevated. So like Drek'thar is elevated by like over 10%. It's actually quite obscene. And that's what Fino responded with. In this case, it's 10%, which seems like a lot. And this has been the big thing to me. Ixar says agreed. So I think we're going to see changes to Drek'thar. I really do. Again, if you look at the numbers that Fino posted, the matchup rate is just ridiculous. Drek'thar, again, is basically 10% above every other card in the deck. You take that out of the equation, you're still probably looking at like a 50-55% mulligan win rate overall for all these cards. If you just hit Drek'thar, it might even still be too good. And you can look at a card like Multi-Strike as kind of a defender to a lot of control board. We have talked about that a ton, but it was kind of a interesting insight into the mind of like why they don't get the patches in there and why the changes don't happen. However, I want to make a point of this, and I want this to be, hopefully this is constructive criticism, but Ixar says, again, like, this is because content patches requires that the changes made a week or two in advance. So a couple weeks ago, they nerfed Druid, they nerfed a Pirate, they nerfed the Warrior quest, right? So if by his statement here, he's saying if they wanted to nerf Drek'thar, they basically would have had to make the decision the second that nerf happened, right? They would have had to make the decision right away. It was a defender at the time, but they wanted to see how it would change. And they needed a couple weeks. However, I just feel like, can there not be a way that this system can be improved? Like, I understand that the way the patches work now, that it takes a week or two in advance for like these major content patches, but is there a way to change that? Like, we see hot fixes happen all the time. We see all these other changes that can happen all the time. I guess the big issue, and I know this is a big one, is localization, which means they have to translate and update the wording on a card if it's not just a mana or attack cost. And Drek'thar is likely going to require more than just a mana change. It's likely going to go down to like 1 minion rather than 2, and that will require localization across countless languages, which again would take time. But I just feel like so much of the fun of a new expansion or rotation just gets ruined by something overperforming, an outlier like a Demon Hunter right now, completely dominating the meta, making it a lot of unfun for a lot of players. And by the time it gets corrected, the hype is gone, fun of the new expansion is kind of wasted, and it just feels like it takes too long. Even though it's a lot faster, they change a lot more than they ever did before. I still feel like we're at the point where it still takes too long, and I would love for them to try and find a way. I mean, they probably are trying to find a way, but keep trying to find a way to improve it so it's faster, because yeah, we're sitting in a 2-class format right now where it's Demon Hunter and Warrior simply because it counters Demon Hunter, and it's really hard to thrive with anything else at the moment. But at least it looks like there is hope on the horizon. Drek'thar likely to get nerfed. It'll be a whole mess of worms to see what they're going to do for the refund on it, considering the whole $25 diamond card. But I don't think they're going to sacrifice the integrity of their game over a refund policy. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what we can rage bait about when that happens. Anyways, that's the update for now. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friend.